Welcome back to the classroom. Come on in, no late pass required. Today, we are continuing our watch through of the behind the scenes for Arcane, Bridging the Rift, part 4, Musical Misfits. And wow, I could not be more excited for this one here, as I love the music inside of Arcane, and they teased us a little bit in the previous video. And I just had to keep going here because I was so excited to see a little bit more of it. It is super late at night and I am still going right now. It is currently right before the holidays and I've just been going through these because it's been so fascinating. We'll see how far I get after this, but I'm really excited about this one because I absolutely love music. I adore music, and the music in this show was just so damn good, and I am so excited about this, and so I don't think I can wait at this point. So without further ado, let us jump right into the video. I almost said episode. I wish it was another episode. All right, Bridging the Rift, part 4, Musical Misfits. I've got my friend here ready to go. She is very excited for a little bit of cuddle time as we listen to how they made some of the biggest bangers in animation music history. Let's get into it. Like, it still impresses me to this day how they were able to come up with some of this music. And so, like, I'm curious to see how they ended up doing this. Time to prove them all wrong once again. Music is so important to any like piece of filmmaking, as it can totally change the emotion of everything.
At Riot, we've always loved music.
Well, that's an understatement.
In fact, in certain countries, people don't call us a game company. They call us a music company, and they say we're making games to do marketing for our music.
Stop. That's what you guys were saying.
And so, obviously, when we dived into a TV show, we
you gotta do good music.
Music is obviously personal to Christian. It's personal to a lot of folks on that team.
Yeah.
I think Alex, you once said, when you go write a script, and I think it's the same thing with music. You know, when you go write a song and you sit down and do it, and someone asks you, "Oh, are you gonna write a great song today?" It's kind of like going, you know, maybe, you know, it's kind of like going fishing. He said.
Still so unsure of themselves.
I know what tools to use. I have experience to know where the best spots are.
Yeah. Oh, some initial versions.
But whether or not I'm actually
part of my workout playlist now.
We've worked on all kinds of genres at this point, and when I came, we said, hey, we're gonna craft a full album of all these different songs.
And they did exactly that.
It really was the culmination of all the different skill sets that we've developed over the many years on the music team to craft something that's really unparalleled.
Think it's time to say
Goodbye, 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 goodbye. Oh, goodbye, goodbye. Oh, what an epic way to introduce that. Holy shit.
Welcome to my studio in North Hollywood. This is where we make some of the music for Arcane. Follow me. So we're going for
how's this gonna look?
Messy aesthetic of gear everywhere. We don't invite people over. You're the first human beings I've seen or invited here in years. We prefer dark, no windows.
Oh my goodness.
I love music so much. It's the first time I've been able to have like an actual piano.
I think I recognize that name there.
Instrument of them all, obviously. The French horn here. Everything I do is just French horn, and then I'll just auto-tune it to sound like other instruments. It's a cool trick that I learned in school. Just kidding, I'm way in debt for my college loans. It's a sad story.
I hope he's not in debt after this.
Really special is that he's not only extremely talented at writing melodies, you know, for pop vocals, but also he's a classically trained musician. He went to Juilliard, French horn player.
Juilliard, wow.
he became a really successful pop artist.
Jesus. Oh man, I'm gonna have to look into all this music here.
About 2016. Each year for their Worlds event, the biggest esports tournament probably ever, we write an anthem.
Yo,
That was the first like Worlds anthem that I wrote.
that's so cool.
And about 2.5 years ago, Christian reached out and he's like, "What do you think about Arcane? Do you want to get involved?" And I was just like, "Oh yes, this is the sickest."
I mean, yeah, I can understand that.
We always wanted to make music part of the development from the very beginning instead of just this post-production phase, you know, that it often is in film and television.
The first time I heard about Arcane was pretty much a series of index cards stuck to the acoustic treatment in Christian's composing room. Technically, he was still a composer then, but he had the story that he wanted to tell, and he had ideas for who he wanted to help him tell it.
Oh,
Music
okay.
Arcane started with Alex Temple, who is just an incredible composer.
But at that point, I hadn't done any longer form narrative work. I'd done shorter form narrative, whether it's like a 3 to 5 minute trailer or things like that, but nothing approaching the scope of Arcane.
Big jump, that's for sure.
Can you show me what this is? So this is a Gudjun. I might be
A what now?
pronouncing it incorrectly. But, normally it's played. It has a pentatonic scale
Oh, wait a minute, I've definitely heard that instrument before.
over here. I've been using it completely incorrectly. You know, playing the back side of the instrument. Or even
Pretty sure.
this singing bowl mallet.
Pretty sure I've heard that used.
For the first few months,
I've definitely
we actually
heard that
stayed away
in,
from,
I think,
you know,
Avatar: The Last
pictures, you
Airbender.
know, from the show, and we just explored themes and isolation for a character, every character.
Ooh.
I think when working on a theme, you want something that clearly makes a statement about who this character is, but you also want something that's adaptable. So this is the beginning of episode 3. We have this vocal melody that comes in.
Oh.
Silco, you know, he's kind of one of the villains of the show. He's a complex character. He has good reasons
Yeah.
for his motives, but he's sort of a villain.
Complex
Yeah,
character,
right
to
for
say
it.
the least.
Not sort of villainous at all. It's very sort of welcoming and kind of seductive in a way.
It perfectly
So
themed.
sometimes when we use these sort of motifs, they come back in kind of subtle ways. Kind of very confused.
Oh,
distorted
wait.
version of
I didn't even notice that.
melody we're
Obviously, he's going to be a little
Beautiful.
confused in that point.
We really
Oh,
wanted to
that's
have
so cool.
these melodies, you know, for characters. Like, really, like you should feel like you remember this character in this moment when you hear this melody.
Oh, wait a minute.
They're always there, but sometimes they're darker, sometimes they're brighter, sometimes they're faster, but they're always there.
Oh.
Alex Temple, the lead composer, he's just such a god-tier orchestra composer, like to a level I can't
That
get to.
Such subtle storytelling that I love.
At bar 13 can play that out a little more.
Okay.
Thanks. One more for luck, and then we'll move on.
Having to do this from a distance is insane.
It's funny because I was
Uh,
and so I listened to just all this Mahler and like Bruckner and all these people, and so I thought I was obsessed with it. And then I'd talk Mahler with him, and he's just like, "Oh, the specific recording of George Bernstein for the third movement versus the Bernstein recording," and you're like, "Okay,
yeah,
All right, you win
I'm
the
out of my
game."
yeah, I'm out of my league now, aren't I? Ooh.
So Ray Chen is a phenomenal violinist. You never know quite what it's going to be like working with, you know, somebody who's at the top of their field.
Ray plays as a soloist with the Los Angeles Philharmonic, the big orchestras in Europe, you know.
Oh, so he's been around, that's for sure.
He's probably the first classical violinist who plays on like a 20 whatever $1 million Stradivarius to an animated series.
Oh, that's really cool.
A lot of the time, the music I put in front of him, it's written because we know he can play it.
Shit. Oh, I do remember that scene now. Yo!
I don't know about that.
I don't know about that.
Oh my god.
Jeez.
Approaching the finale of the first season, it's getting very dramatic for all of our characters. This is
Oh.
the theme of the character Victor. This is around the time when he pushes his body and the transformation.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of gets seduced in a way by this hex core
Yeah.
and starts to kind of lose parts of his humanity. And there's kind of like a
Oh, that little downturn there.
terrible beauty, if that makes sense.
It's a really tragic
Yes,
moment, but it's
it
also
absolutely
kind of
does.
Tragic ascendancy because it's like, it's not a good thing that's happening.
No.
At the same time, this is kind of like a leveling up of the character. This
A
is
leveling up of his
important
character.
development.
Wow.
I've been
Yeah.
doing extra stuff with Alex Temple.
Oh, that was such an emotional scene.
And it was only about a year ago that we were like, let's do a 11, 12 song pop soundtrack to go with the show.
There's a girl in town and words come around. She's just
We
Oh.
also wanted to create these special moments in every episode with music, and so with the editors
Yeah.
and the directors of our team, we tried to find a moment where the music can actually take over and be in the spotlight.
It makes sense with the company that they are, like the background that they've had.
I declare war.
Oh, this is one of my favorite songs in the soundtrack, not gonna lie.
How could you ignore?
Working on Arcane, the pressure is pretty high. All these great, amazing artists.
Misfit
and
toys.
the story is
Oh.
amazing, and the animation is amazing. The score is amazing. The
I love that
sound is great.
t-shirt.
The music has to be good too. The songs have to be good.
Echo's mask.
Sebastian is like ultimate homie for me. We did Rise
Don't
together.
play with the
Awaken
Misfits.
Together. I cannot wait to work with him any chance I get.
Sebastian is this interesting character. I remember in his interview, we always asked him, like, what kind of song would you make for this character, for that moment? And he would always just go, I don't know. And so we were like, we don't know if he's the right guy for that. And then you just start hearing the songs, and all of a sudden you're just.
Oh, yeah,
blown
he's
away.
got. It's
He's
not
the
something you
person who
can
does, but doesn't talk
put
about
to
it.
words. It's a
It's called
feeling
Banger
more.
Lives.
The banger
All
lives.
the bangers are made. Well, have we heard there's some music going on?
So I had already worked on cinematics for Riot and music videos and things like that. But Arcane, the extra difficulty was that the purpose of the song is for a scene, is for a story.
Yeah. Who told you what was down here?
Unlike other movies and
Oh.
shows that might have just like a standalone incidental soundtrack of pop.
Clearly,
bars,
I've been
we
listening to
actually
these a
wrote
lot.
this To picture the way that you would score something.
Seen your
Face around here.
come around.
Oh, so many storytelling elements.
I know for Sebastian and myself, it was like really difficult to like
Ooh.
figure out that language.
So
where we're
cool
getting things to feel like a
to hear
song
like the
versus
beginnings of
to
this.
dodge between dialogue or like hit peak moments to picture, which might not be happening at a set tempo.
I think so much in what we do with the songs, you can kind of find parts of the world as well. Like Zon, this underground world where a lot
Yeah.
of things kind of get repurposed, reused, mangled, distorted. That's what the drums kind of also tell me. Where I feel like, okay, if Jinx would design a kick drum, what would it sound like?
Wow, that's a great way to do it. Stop.
When we
They
worked
did an
with
entire
Bieber,
thing.
She recorded some really amazing improvisations. Like this for example, is
That was
totally
improvised.
understood the vibe of what we were trying to convey. You know, descending into zone, and
That's one of the hypest moments of that song. Yo.
My dream was that we could kind of write the songs early enough so we can even still edit, you know, sequences and boards to the music. I think what we found pretty fast is that we would have this issue that we would approach all these artists and we'd say, hey, we want to make music with you, make these songs. And they'd say, oh, cool, that's awesome. When do they go out? And we would tell them like, oh, in 2 years. And they would go, oh, never mind.
Nah.
What we did instead is to actually write the songs ourselves and then bring on the artist to kind of like, you know, either just sing it or find their version of it.
Wherever you are, light it up, and I'll find you.
Oh. Ooh.
Funny enough, we didn't even initially think about Woodkid for this song. We had him for a different one, and he happened to hear this demo and went, oh, let me do that one instead.
Wow. Innocence, good night.
And it was the greatest thing that could have ever happened. This was like sort of an action-y piece when I had first written it, and then he turned it into the most chill-inducing
I'm
spring thing I've ever heard.
so. Oh.
But yeah, so like it always just starts
Such a
here, and
powerful
you never
moment.
quite know what it's gonna end up being.
Yes.
the other big one was the Jinx Echo fight in episode 7.
A little giggle.
Got that vibe figured out, and then for the vocalist, the rapper, we're like, okay, we have some ideas of who could be super cool. Like, okay, let's see what can, you know, let's send the track to them and see do they want to do it, and also, you know, are they going to do something that fits? You know, Denzel Curry was one of them.
In this gothic underground city, we all sin. If I bring a couple rounds with me, then we all win.
Jizzle was another one.
Just might kick your butt, go run amok, then paint my nails. Never learned to raise my
I mean, they're all good. I love all these versions.
It kind of sounded like a female vocal. It's like, oh, that's a really cool, catchy kind of chorus part. Turns out it was him just pitched up.
Oh. Oh, that's how we got that part.
All three sent us really awesome stuff. So we got 3 demos, like, oh my god, like, what can we do? A little bit of a challenge just from having so much good material. How do we do that?
It's not the worst problem to have.
How do we make 3 songs into 1 song? Let's try to use all 3.
Yo, that's...
In this gothic underground city, we all sin. If I bring a couple rounds with me, then we all win. I came back and brought that.
Oh,
That was one cool and challenging
such a hype
thing
song.
about, working on Arcane songs is you get these puzzles that you have to solve.
Oh, that was one of my favorite sequences in the entire show. Oh,
Season 1, everything we did for music was kind of happening then like after the episodes were already done. And so now if we do it early enough, we would have the ability for the artist to just kind of write whatever they want, and then we can cut the episodes to it. I think it was such a limitation for the writing musicians, you know?
Working with Christian is pretty special because he's a musician. That's also another great thing about him is that he's not going to waste time. If it's not great, he'll tell you. He'll tell you right away, yeah, it's not working.
Can you play the 57, just solo it real quick? I just want to hear it because I don't know, the orchestra always makes me feel like it's more convoluted than what it actually is.
Christian started his career at Riot in an entry-level position, answering tickets when players have a problem, whether it's a technical problem or billing problems.
that's how he started.
Years later, he started to write some music, and only then we realized, oh my God, this guy is an amazing talent.
Yeah, totally being misused.
Christian, you know, the first time I met him, he came onto campus, very quiet, very unassuming, other than, of course, the neck tattoo. I'm like, so, you know, tell me, what jobs have you worked? What have you done prior to coming here? And he's like, oh, well, you know, I did some music. You know, I was in a band, I traveled around
Ooh.
Europe, doing some tour kind of stuff. I was like, don't care, how well will you serve the players?
and ended up coming in.
That he was in fact a big deal.
Oh.
I believe he told me the biggest audience he played in front of was like 100,000 people.
Christian's a freak because he
Wow.
gives us feedback like, no, the cello needs to be an octave lower and it needs to be this dynamic. Like, he just knows how to speak music. That's my favorite Christian feedback. When I released my album, I had one song that I was like super into, and I'm still really happy with it, but I just remember Christian was like, and Christian liked it when I was working on it, and then he heard the final, he's like, it sounds unfinished.
That's great.
You gotta break them before we can build them up.
We're also
This is fantastic.
He goes to give us high
Really
fives.
getting to move up in the company.
We're all so broken.
It's going. It's just.
Oh, I identify with that.
Pivot. It's the last song we had to come up with, and this one was
The hardest one.
Yeah.
Really. The concept was
ambitious.
ambitious and hard to execute.
Oh, it's still such an insane
You
hit.
kind of go into it knowing, like, by the way, this is the big champion moment for Vi and for Jace, and this needs to be great. And you're gonna question every choice you make because it's like, but is it great? And so it's also just expectations are always really high. So this is a bit of a
And they real.
Hail Mary just to kind of.
Oh,
say,
okay,
hey,
another Hail Mary.
figure it out, and so
These guys are
someone that
insane.
recommended Paris, just because she has a really cool sound, and then we just kind of went.
Oh, she
maybe
really
we should let
does.
her do her thing. So this is like a demo they send over, and yeah, we're just kind of opening it up for the first time.
Oh. Another fantastic song. Oh, that was the demo that you sent. It was just like, yeah, that's it right there.
Pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Feels like Vi. Feels right.
Her voice just feels like kind of something that Vi would. The attitude is really, really fun. She even has like the shaved side, and then like the nose ring. I was
Yo, stop. That makes it even better. I mean, the sound very much seemed that way, but like, oh. Oh, how could they not talk about Imagine Dragons?
I'm Dan from Imagine Dragons, and this is our studio. This is where we did Enemy. So I'll take
Oh, I was so caught up in this that I even forgot to talk, like, even think about Imagine Dragons.
How's it going? Ben McKee, our bass player.
Oh, fancy meeting you here.
And Wayne Sermon, the guitarist. And this wasn't planned at all. I can't believe you guys are in here at this exact time.
I felt like I needed to be here.
Vi is actually the player that I play on League of Legends, so I definitely associated with it. And
Oh, they're all such nerds. I love it.
the three of us play. So Platzman plays, Ben's a more old school gamer.
Did you try League?
I have tried League. It is. I am a simple man.
We have definitely been late on stage in front of, I don't know, tens of thousands of people, maybe hundreds of thousands of people because we were finishing a ranked League.
Stop. I remember you guys mentioning that. It's funny that they're the ones directly saying it.
For a long time, and we've been a part of the community for years. And I love Christian. We vibed out. He told me about what he'd been working on. He showed me a lot of slides and storyboard. At that time, it was in the very early stages of Arcane. But it was enough that I understood the dynamic at play with, the sisters and Vi and Jinx.
What makes you different makes you strong.
As far as it goes, I think there's a lot of times.
That's where the inspiration came.
Lives where you just feel like alone, or you feel isolated. And that song is written in isolation and feeling kind of you against the world.
The exact vibe that I got.
Stories in a told when my back was to the world, smiling when I tell you you're the greatest. But once you
misery. Everybody wants to be my enemy. He. Look out for yourself. Definitely my favorite version of this song. Oh. Yeah, I'm ready. Acoustic version's cool though. I will give credit where credit is due. Oh, and then of course we have to talk about this song.
I mean, it goes without saying, like, the last scene of season 1 is probably going to be an important scene. And it was this beautiful montage, and they had tempted up with this, like, stunning David Bowie song. And they're like, you know, Alex, could you write us a song? And you're like, sure, I'm going to have a panic attack first. I'm going to go see my therapist. And then as soon as I center myself, try and write a song that lives up to that moment.
Yeah, this was tough to watch. I wasn't in a great spot at that point, that's for sure.
Some of the initial stems that I had done, it was just like a piano and my own vocal. I am the monster you created.
Those lyrics are too real.
The way it starts is just like a person just like lamenting. I mean, it was really Jinx's voice in this song. The lyrics for that one came quickly. The difficulty with that was writing a song that's structured properly, because Jinx fires this rocket at first, which is like a beautiful moment as it soars across the sky.
Yeah.
And I wasn't at the point in the song that something that big was supposed to happen yet. So we had to like figure out how to write almost like a bridge section that is this rocket blast moment before we get back to the second verse and before we continue the song. Christian would give us feedback and we'd kind of hit our stride, and then it would be like, okay, which artists do we want to have sing this?
Yeah. Oh, but they had their violinist. Sting. Oh, I'm getting chills right now.
I am your ghost, a fallen angel. You ripped out all my parts.
Sting was at the top of our list. I mean, it's pretty convenient to be like, oh, we'd love to have Sting. Like, oh yeah, would you? But we had him there, and we were able to talk to him about it and get him into it and show him the sequence, and he was just really generous, and it did exactly what we had hoped, which is just elevate it into this moment that is kind of above everything else. Sting's voice center, you're just like, is that Sting?
I don't know if I realized that it was Sting.
You know, it's funny because
Oh, that silence says so much.
Until you actually, like, you think, oh my god, this is gonna be amazing, but you just don't quite know until you actually see everything done, and you just have that feeling for like 2 or 3 years where you go, I think it's gonna be amazing, but I'm not quite sure. And you just kind of have to wait, because you just, you know, does the music come together? Does it have that kind of magic
Yeah.
touch? You know, like, does the
Trust the process, almost.
the acting kind of come together?
We're bleeding money, and for what? His dreams of rebellion. He's losing control.
I'm curious to see how it will go when this show hits all the platforms so people can watch it. And
They're still not confident in it. With it done and looking as incredible as it did.
And also kind of like the general audience. A league audience, they will certainly tell us how they feel.
They'll be honest.
But all I really hear is just the... It's pretty scary to know that you're working on something that really cannot fail. You know, like it's not, that's not optional. And so
wow,
it just makes you question everything.
Still so hard on themselves. So obviously that's the teaser for the next part. I'm very curious to see what they end up doing for that second part there, or I should say the final part, because we only got part 5 left. So we just finished watching part 4 of Bridging the Rift, titled Musical Misfits, and man, I gotta say, like, I think this was probably the part that was most together out of the entire process that we've seen so far, and like even some of the music helping to push forward what the storytelling elements were going to be like. And I kind of like that. I like them using music to kind of drive the story forward even more, because music can totally change the tone of any scene that you put it on. Like, I know that there's some really funny videos out there where they take like a horror scene and they put like rom-com music in it, and it totally changes the dynamic of the actual scene that they're showing. It doesn't even seem like a horror movie anymore. It seems more like it's going to be comedic in a sense. And so music, I would argue, is one of the most, if not the most important element to storytelling with filmmaking, just simply because good music can any music can make or break what it is that you are watching. If you can't nail that down, you're not going to be able to generate the emotions that you want to put forward in the viewers. And I gotta say right now, they really did their work, and they did it very well. Like, seeing how they took all of these different characters, and before even like seeing any of the visuals, getting just like a feel for like what the character was written like, and then saying like, all right, let's do a theme. And so, like, you know, the theme for Silco was phenomenal, and really just spoke so much to his character, because he was so complex. Like, he was obviously, like, you know, at first he seemed like he was going to be a, you know, another generic bad guy, but there was so much deeper meaning to him as a person, and that's exactly what they showed in his song. And then they go and like modify it depending on the scene, like when he's kind of coming out of, you know, being drugged, and he's kind of like dazed, confused, and like even the music starts to reflect that. It's still his theme, but it's like scatterbrained almost, and like that, just those subtle details like that are what can really take a good piece of filmmaking to a great piece of filmmaking. Because we see how they also did that with someone like Powder/Jinx, and how like Powder's theme was sort of this more innocent version, and then with Jinx, like we see hints of that every now and then, especially during the more intimate moments with someone like Vi. But as soon as the chaos starts to take place, the music gets more chaotic. It starts to reflect the inner psyche, which that is just once again a masterclass in storytelling. It gets to show us that like they know what they're doing, and even though they are not confident in themselves, they know exactly what they are doing with this. And I absolutely love that. I love how they use music as a, sometimes not even a supplement, but like a complement to the storytelling. Sometimes even having it be the central focal point of the storytelling, and having like almost like at minimum one dedicated song from this original soundtrack that they put together, not just like instrumentals, but like an actual like pop-ish type of song, depending on like what episode it was, to kind of almost be like the theme song for that episode. And it does such a good job of like still integrating that into the story so well, and helping to reinforce what is happening on screen, what we're seeing from all of these people. And I love how they actually said that in many places in the world they are they are told that like they're a music company that just happens to make games as a byproduct, and they make their games to sell their music. And like I love that, because like they're all laughing about it, like, oh, it's casual, it's whatever, but like they really like truly do seem to be like, this was probably the most confident I've seen them throughout the process, was working with the music and kind of knowing like the feeling of what was going on the entire time. And that's with good reason. They obviously know very well what they're doing with the music aspect of all of this, and as such that's why we get such incredible songs in this. And I find it funny how I was saying like, yo, these are all bangers, and then they were like, oh yeah, we call this Banger Labs. And I'm like, you guys are like in my head, like trying to tell me exactly what it is that I want here. But it's so cool how they kind of went through and talked about like all of like the big songs that were like main components of the actual show, and kind of like walk us through a little bit of the process that we saw and like how they came to be and why they were made the way that they were, and like who they wanted for it. And even in circumstances where like everybody did such a good job that they just combined all of the demos that they got just simply because it was too good to leave on the cutting room floor. Like especially with I'm blanking on the name of the song right now. I want to say it was like Dynasties and Dystopias. That was the one. With the song like that, like there was actually like 3 demos that were sent, and they're like, how are we going to decide between the 3 of these? And then they were like, you know what, we're not going to decide. We're just going to use all these and use different elements of each demo because we liked each of them so much. And I'm like, what a way to make a song. Like like it totally changes the vibe, but then it like ends up working better for what it is that is happening. Almost as if there's like all these different sides like fighting each other, and it really represented the Echo Jinx fight just so well, and like just blended so well with all the visuals that we were getting, and just timed perfectly and whatnot. And I just loved it. It was so cool to see how they went about this. And like I have less to say than what I would usually have to say with these videos, because this one, like, they were just confident in what they were doing. They knew what they had, they knew what they had to work with, and like some of these artists are just so cool. And like, you know, Ramsey in particular was really cool. And then what was her name? Oh yes, I think it was like Bia something. Yeah, Bia Miller, I think was her name. And doing like an actual like live action, yes, Bia Miller 2021 World's opening ceremony. That's really cool. They like had an entire like set for her that she was singing on, and it really just matched the overall aesthetic of what they were going for, and it was so freaking cool. And like they really cast all of these people. I say cast, I mean, they might as well be considered cast members for the music that they did, because so many of these musicians were either personified in actual characters, or they were just so integral to the storytelling that they became a character of their own. And so it's really cool to see, like, you know, the one artist who sent the demo, I think her name was Paris, and like looking so much like Vi, and like them doing a song kind of showing off Vi fighting, like it was like they found, like I said, they found real life Vi and they just threw her in to do the music. And like it was that genre of music, like I always like to describe it as like lovingly with my buddy and my wife, we talk about how it's like the scary rocker chick who, like, it's our favorite brand of some of our favorite brand of music, because we just love just like the badass female singer who just like gets you hyped, but also totally looks like they will kick your ass and not even be sorry about it. And like it is once again, it's not a sound quality that can be taught. It is just something that you end up knowing how to do. It ends up coming to you naturally, and that's kind of what she does here. And so like that was definitely one of my one of my favorites. All of these were my favorites in one way, shape, or another. All of them ended up on like my workout playlist, because so many of them are such bangers and they're really good for motivation. And then like I started thinking about some of the scenes that went along with this music, and it starts to hype me up even more, and I, you know, really hit my stride very well whenever any of these songs come on that workout playlist. And it just really goes to show you how incredible these songs are, because they can be enjoyed both in the show and out of the show and still be considered, you know, part of the filmmaking process. But I'm curious to know what you guys think, so let me know down in the comments down below if there's any fun facts that I missed out on while talking about this, and make sure to like and subscribe so that you don't miss out on anything. But in the meantime, class, you are officially dismissed, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out, everybody.